talk to you all today about healthy living for your body and brain, and just how to keep your brain sharp, how to keep your body healthier. I work for the Alzheimer's Association, so I work with families that have Alzheimer's and dementia. And some of the things we do, we have a 24/7 helpline that they can call 24 hours a day, and somebody will answer the phone for them. We do care consultations, so we go in and meet with the families to talk about resources that are available, behaviors they might be having problems with. I do educational programs in the community. And I had Jeff put up a note on your bulletin board. We also do a memory cafe in Petersburg. It's the fourth Wednesday of each month, and it's for people with dementia as well as their caregivers to come. They can have a free cup of coffee or tea and just fellowship. It's not a support group, it's not an educational program, they can just talk with one another. And then at each of your sections I left a little card with our services. So I'm going to skip the overview because this is normally an hour, but we're going to blow through it in 30 minutes. So I'm going to skip the overview. So as far as aging and health, aging well depends on your genes. I mean, we all know those people where their mother's 90 and she does not look 90 years old. She looks very good for her age. Also, diseases and things are passed down genetically. So genes is one part of your aging well. The next one is the environment that you live in. You know, the pollution, the air quality, things like that. If your neighborhood is a nicer neighborhood and cleaner neighborhood, you're going to be more willing to probably go walking and doing different things that are outside. And then also your lifestyle is also another part for aging well. There's some people that, you know, they play tennis well up into their 80s and 90s. So it's important to do that. And the lifestyle choices that you make help keep your body and brain healthy. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the brain is the control center for your body. It's about 100 billion nerves in your brain that make a connection that form the memories that you have, form, you know, those habits and things that you know how to do every day. So they get together. The singles traveling through, like I said, they take care of the memories and things. And what happens with Alzheimer's disease is it kills the brain. It starts in the hippocampus, which is the part for your recent current memories. And then as it kills the different parts of the brain, you lose different parts of your functions. So as it hits the vision center of the brain, you might lose your vision. As it hits the motor center of the brain, you might stop walking or talking. So as it hits and kills the different parts, you lose different functions. So the heart and the brain are interrelated. So whatever you do to protect your heart is good for your brain. Every time that your heart beats, 25% of the blood flow from that heartbeat goes to your brain. So it's important to watch your cholesterol numbers. It's important, like hardening the arteries. Anything that's going to restrict your blood flow, it's important to make sure that you take care of that, because that's the nourishment that your brain needs to live. So dementia is caused by many different diseases and conditions. And I get the question a lot, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Dementia is the umbrella. Alzheimer's is one type of dementia. There's about 10 different types of dementia. It's not a normal part of aging. So just because you're getting older does not mean you're going to get Alzheimer's or dementia. It means you're more likely, but it does not mean you're going to get it. And I always tell the story. I go to the Petersburg Triad meeting every month, and there's a lady that's 105 years old, and she drives herself to the meeting every month. She's still sharp. I mean, she's a little slower. She's on a walker. But cognitively, she's fine. So just because you're getting older does not mean you're going to get Alzheimer's or dementia. And then Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. And some of the risks, as we talked about, are age. If you have a family history, you are more likely to get it. But again, because you have a family history does not mean you're going to get it. Because there are some types of dementia that are health-related. Like there's a vascular dementia, which is caused by people with heart attacks and strokes and circulation issues. And if you have a family history of that, but you take care not to have that family history, then you may not get it. So it's important to keep your body healthy. Head injury is another common cause. So you want to make sure you protect your head. Do everything you can to keep from falling in your house. I tell people, you know, we all have that one place in our house where maybe we stub our toe on something every time we go by it. You might want to go ahead and move it. You know, instead of walking around it and swearing at it as you go by. And then also, sometimes people with fewer years of formal education are more likely to develop dementia. And they say it's because they just don't have that wealth of knowledge to draw upon. And the therapies for Alzheimer's disease, it can treat some of the symptoms of the disease, but it won't cure it, it won't stop it, and it won't slow the disease. So taking care of yourself as you age is important. So now we're going to talk a little bit about physical health and exercise. So what we can do as far as physical health and exercise, it's important to do some cardiovascular activity because it can reduce your risk of cognitive decline. Is there anyone that does exercise currently? And there are some exercises, even if you're sedentary, there are some chair exercises that you can do where you sit in a chair and you still exercise the different parts of your body. I know I did this presentation at a senior facility and I made a crack about, you know, how hard can chair exercising be because you're sitting in a chair. And I had one of the little ladies come up to me after the program and told me that she hurt, she sweat, and she breathed hard. So, so I told her I took it all back. And then regular and vigorous activity, it increases the blood flow to your brain. So anything you can do to keep the blood moving and keep it flowing to your brain is a good thing. So there's no single recipe for it. So it's important to do a combination of things. So this is Woodley, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about that.
It's surprising how you can easily build up habits of just taking 15 to 20 minutes out of your day to go down, hit the treadmill, and just do it. Just do it. Just get on it, put my headphones on, and just walk at a nice brisk pace for myself, build up a quick heartbeat, quick sweat, and it's amazing how quickly I can go from 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and then over time 30 minutes, and over time 40 minutes. Before you know it, you know, you're up to 45 minutes of walking, and even at a higher incline and also at a higher pace. And again, it's all about incorporating habits in the choices that we make.
And it's important, like maybe you can get a few people together from your neighborhood and just kind of go walking around your neighborhood, because it's a lot more fun to do it with a group to kind of chit-chat, and that way it's a way you can get out and be a little more active. Oops. So it's important with physical health and exercise that you do something that you like. So if it's not something you enjoy, it's not something you're going to do. That's why walking with friends, it makes it a little more social activity, which social activities are helpful as well. So find something that you enjoy. Start out small. You know, don't take on a marathon the first day. You know, maybe just start with a couple of laps around your block. So just start very small. Make sure that you move safely. Make sure you have the right kind of shoes for walking. Make sure you have the right things that you need. Make sure you get your heart rate up. So don't kind of mosey. You might want to just walk just a little harder so you can kind of get your heart rate up. Ask your friends to join you, and just make sure you check with your doctor to make sure you're able to do that. So one of the other things that you can do is stop smoking if you're a smoker. Smoking actually restricts the blood flow in the body, so it's important if you are smoking to try to stop that. Avoid excessive alcohol. You know, glass of wine or a day is okay, but you don't want to drink a bottle every day. So you want to watch that as well. Make sure you get adequate sleep. Sleep is how the body cleans the brain, because there's stuff that floats through in the brain fluid. So sleep is how the brain cleans that out. So it's important to get enough sleep so you can get that cleaned out. Avoiding head injury we talked about. Managing your stress is important. There are some people that occasionally, when you get in a very stressful situation, you tend to get a little more forgetful because you have that stress going on in your body. So it's important to kind of release that stress and get rid of that stress. If you're depressed, you want to treat the depression because there are some dementia symptoms to depression as well. And again, make sure you visit your doctor as you're supposed to. So make sure you know your numbers as well, your blood pressure. I heard the other day we had a cardiologist speak, and he said the new number is 115/79. I'm like, I'm working for 120/80, and now you dropped it on me. So you want to watch that as well. Your blood sugar numbers, you want to watch those and keep those well. Because blood sugar, diabetes in midlife can lead to Alzheimer's or dementia years later. So you want to make sure you keep your blood sugar numbers well. Watch your weight. I always tell people this is the do as I say, not as I do part. And then also watch your cholesterol numbers because you want to keep that down because anything that's going to restrict your blood flow is not a good thing for your body.
Can I ask you one question while you're on the blood pressure part? And you mentioned, is this for people, is this 115/79?
He said.
That's the kind of the perfect thing for 18 years old up to 60?
You know, we asked him that because, you know, we've always heard that there's kind of a sliding scale as you get to a certain age, and he was saying that there wasn't a sliding scale.
Okay.
That's the optimum, you know, that you should be working for, but, you know, if it's 120/80, that's not terrible.
Right.
So, but I was like, when did you lower the bar? I didn't know the bar got lowered.
and can it get where too low is not good? Like suppose you went to 98/60.
Yeah, too low is usually not good because a lot of times people that, you know, where it's too low is where it's not getting through your body properly.
Okay.
And there are people that pass out because it's too low and have other issues because it's too low. Maybe I should tell them at 117 over whatever's too low.
Are there any quick ways to figure out to check your cholesterol?
Quick ways to check it?
I test my blood sugar and I do all that. Cholesterol, is there anything you blood?
Unfortunately not. You have to do that through the blood test through the doctor's office. So we can get that copay probably. The next one we're going to talk about is diet and nutrition. So what we know is what's good for your body is also good for your brain. So you want to watch what you eat. They're saying that the Mediterranean diet with the dark leafy greens is probably the better one. So you want to watch what you're putting into your body and make sure you're putting the right fuel into it. And I was talking about the meeting with the cardiologist the other day. He probably wouldn't be thrilled about the breakfast choices today, but he did say every now and then it's okay.
This is only once a month.
And then make sure that you follow the dietary guidelines because there are some, you know, diseases and things that are helped by the diet, like blood pressure. You want to watch your salt intake, cholesterol. You want to watch the fats that you're eating. So just make sure that you're watching what you're putting into your body as well. This is Martha, and she's going to talk to us a little more about that.
Foods that have been shown to lead to healthy aging would be fruits and vegetables, and in particular green leafy vegetables and berries, as well as limited intake of high-fat food items that you get through high-fat dairy and cheese and red meats, and also healthy vegetable oils. So this would be, olive oil would be a good example, have been shown to reduce your risk of heart disease as well as dementia.
Yeah, and one of the things the cardiologist said is if you see in the ingredients partially hydrogenated, that's bad fat. So he said you want to look at your food labels to cut those words out of it. So what we eat, again, we want to do vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, whole grains, lean meats, fish and poultry, and vegetable oils. So we want to not cook with lard and those types of things, butter. We want to avoid the saturated and trans fats, processed foods, solid fat, sugar, and salt, any deep fried foods, and any unhealthy fast foods. And again, you can do it every now and then, not every day. Oops. So you want to make sure that you consult with reputable sources. There's a lot of products that they're advertising now that help your memory. My advice to you is to save your money. Some of them are quite costly. There's one that's $79 a bottle, and there's no testing that proves that it helps. So, save your money, talk to your doctor, and work with your doctor. And then also vitamins. Vitamins are good. Talk with your doctor again about any supplements that you're taking, because there are some supplements that can interact with the medication that you're taking. So make sure your doctor is aware of supplements as well. And then the next one is cognitive activity. So we know that keeping your mind active helps to form new connections within your brain. So it's important to get out, to get socially active with people. The cognitive activity increases your flow to your brain, the blood flow. And mentally stimulating activities may possibly maintain or even enhance your cognition. I know anytime you do games or activities that challenge you is a good thing. So if you have a hobby that you can do without really thinking about it, that's not really helping your brain. Those kind of things you can do mindlessly. So you want to find something that you have to think about. Like, for instance, I crochet. I don't even have to look at it or think about it. I can just do it. But I decided to learn knitting because that's something I have to think about and something I have to work at. So word puzzles are good, crosswords are good. Anything that makes you have to think is a good thing. And then engaging in formal education, taking some extra classes at the local college, maybe asking if you can audit a class. And I actually met a gentleman in Surrey that he's 85 now. He retired from the military, and he decided to go back to college, and he wanted to be a gerontologist. And I said, why a gerontologist? Which a gerontologist is someone that works with the elderly. And he said, well, I figured I was going to be elderly one day, so I should know what I was talking about. So he went back to college and got a degree in gerontology just to keep his mind active. He doesn't do anything with it, he just wanted to learn more.
At the
So it's
age of
important.
85.
Yeah. He's an impressive man. And this is Dr. Bennett, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about that.
One of the most interesting factors is cognitive stimulating activities, which basically for us just means mental processing of information. It can be from a book, it can be from the radio, it can be a magazine, it can be from a lecture, it can actually be from watching TV. All of these things require processing information. And the old adage of, use it or lose it is actually something that turns out, at least from the observational data, to look like it's true. So numerous studies now have shown that being more engaged in cognitively stimulating activities is actually good for maintaining cognition. And it's true in late life, and it's true in early life. And so what we recommend is that you start early, and if you're already late, start now.
And then also, you know how people sometimes get together and you play cards. You might play bridge, or you might play rummy and things. That's a good thing. You might want to watch the snacks and the sweets that you have with it. But anything that's going to stimulate your brain and anything that gets you together with other people and socially stimulating is a good thing. So you can read books and articles that challenge you. Maybe stay away from the kind of fluff stuff, the little magazines. So you might want to read things about history or things that occurred, so things that stimulate your mind. Do puzzles and games that are challenging for you. Again, if it's easy, it's not really helping your brain a whole lot. Learn new skills and hobbies. Maybe take up woodworking if you haven't done woodworking before. So learn new things is important. And then keep learning. Engage in ongoing learning and keep that going. So what we know about social engagement is that it's associated with living longer and fewer disabilities. There's many times that I've gone to little bridge club meetings, and there's a lot of 90-year-old ladies that are there, and they would not miss their bridge club. They're there every week. It's something that they do. There's some of them that tell me that they would crawl to bridge club if they had to get to their bridge club meeting. But it keeps them stimulated, it keeps them active, and it keeps them going out and doing things. Staying engaged in the community offers an opportunity to maintain your skills, so you do want to go out and volunteer, go out and help other people. And then remaining socially and mentally active supports your brain health and will possibly delay the onset of Alzheimer's or dementia. So for social engagement, you can visit family and friends, just get together, have family reunions, those types of things. Make sure you engage with other people, because people that sit in their house and kind of stay in their house to themselves, you know, they're not activating and stimulating their brains. So make sure you get out and meet with other people. You know, maybe it's just meeting for a cup of coffee at Starbucks and chatting with some of your friends, but get out and get social with other people. Stay involved in your community, volunteer if you can, and join a club or a group. So putting all four of the pieces together, it's important that you get moving. And like I said, start by just walking around your block. You know, it doesn't have to be something major. You want to eat right, so look for those dark leafy vegetables, the dark berries, and also things that's closer to their natural state, the better. Because the more you cook it, the more you take out the good stuff that you need out of it. Keep your mind active. So do puzzles, games, read books, do things that stimulate your mind. And then make sure you stay connected with other people, because that's good to keep you socially active. And this is Dr. Tyson. He's going to talk to us a little bit more about that.
Recently, at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference, there was a study reported of the results of a large clinical trial that was done in the Scandinavian countries. And in this trial, they took half the people in the trial and they adjusted their exercise level, their diet, their social engagement, and their mental stimulation. They developed programs for each one of those variables, changed all of those for the people that were in the test group, and the control group just lived as they had been. And what they found was that the test group had less conversion to mild cognitive impairment, which is a preliminary stage of Alzheimer's disease. To my mind, one of the things that this has done is it's changed the force of recommendation that we might make around the benefit of these interventions for prevention of Alzheimer's disease or for brain health. And the fact is that I think it's moved it from possibly exercise, diet adjustments, social engagement, mental stimulation are useful, to probably, and that's a big change.
So again, in that test group, it helped with the mild cognitive impairment. There was a less instance of that. So it's important to do those things and to get active. So again, you can do it today. So begin today, start small and build up. You know, don't take on the mountain, take on the hill first. Do what you enjoy and stick with it. So if it's something you like, it's something you're going to keep up with. And you may want to do it with other people because that helps you to be a little more accountable. You know, it's harder to blow something off if you know somebody might be waiting for you. Make healthy choices with your eating. Make a plan. Get support from other people, and just make sure you have fun with it, because again, if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. So, and again, be a savvy customer. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You know, that $79 bottle of pills that's going to help your memory, you know, if it was only that easy to pay $79 for a bottle of pills and make it better. So just make sure you're investigating what you do. Be cautious when you hear those things. Do your research and check on them. Usually I ask the doctor, and if it's a pill or a supplement, sometimes I ask the pharmacist, because sometimes the pharmacist knows a little bit more about the medications than your doctor does. And then consult trusted, reputable professionals, such as your doctor, your pharmacist, or the Alzheimer's Association. So that's the end of my presentation.
One quick question, Ian. If you're slipping into Alzheimer's or some form of dementia, is there any way you can pull yourself out of it by doing some of the things you said, or is it too late at that point?
Unfortunately not. They say that the Alzheimer's or dementia starts 20 years before you ever see the first symptom. So unfortunately you can't. There are some though, some dementias that are caused by a medication interaction, that are caused by a vitamin deficiency, that are caused by infections in the body. Stress or depression can cause it. And if you correct those things and take care of those things, then the dementia will go away. But if you leave it long enough, then it's not going to change. And I'll tell you a story about myself recently. I had taken statins years ago, and I didn't do well with them because I had fatigue and joint pain with them. So my doctor wanted to put me on another one recently, and I said, you know, I have problems with them, I don't do well with them. Well, this is the new pretty great one now. So he put me on it. A week and a half after I was on it, I would get in the middle of sentences and I couldn't remember the word I was trying to say. And then finally I was in Midlothian and I wanted to go to Bon Air and I could not remember how to get to Bon Air. So I parked in the Wegmans parking lot and I Googled it on my phone. And I saw, oh, I got to take Huguenot, and I knew where that was. So I went home and I Googled the name of the drug and memory loss, and I found out that was one of the bad side effects of it. So I called my doctor Monday and I said, I'm not taking this medicine anymore. I stopped it yesterday. And he's like, well, stay off it for a week and then we'll see. And I'm like, I'm not going back on it. So about a week later, all of it went away. So I wonder, you know, a lot of older people take statins, and I wonder if sometimes the memory issues might not be because of that drug. So it's very important to make sure that you kind of own what you're taking and what you're putting in your body, and do your research to make sure, you know, if you're having a side effect or an issue. I usually, like I said, I talk to the pharmacist, because usually they know more about the medicine than the doctor does. So usually that's the better place to go if you have a medication question. Definitely talk to your doctor because he's put you on it. Don't stop taking it unless you talk to him. But talk to the pharmacist if you're having, because the first time I was having trouble with the statin, it was the pharmacist that told me that was a side effect. It wasn't the doctor that told me that. Because I went to the doctor 3 different times, I told him I had that problem, and he blew me off. So it's important to make sure that you get the right information and go to the right people. Any other questions?
I would just like to compliment Earl and Cookie. They have been walking together for as long as I've known them. They always walk. Walk. And I've tried to inspire myself with my wife to do the same thing, and once in a while I can, but I'm not a walker. But you know, I don't know how they did it. It's a secret, but they would every day they get together and walk somewhere, and it's been very good for their longevity. So we have examples around us, and then we have Faye. Yeah, and we have Faye here. Faye, you want to share your secret with us sometime, because I haven't seen you walking. She prays for everybody. She prays consistently every day for everybody in the church. So that's a good mental activity, praying.
And she's building up those karma points.
Oh, she did say she prayed for herself too.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart.
But she has a wonderful attitude, so that's another thing, that positive attitude.
I think
that
so.
they all
I
have.
really do.
But you know, I had 3 sisters with Alzheimer's.
Did you?
That-
Bless your heart.
all my passed away now. I just look at that, the grace of God, your eyes, so you never know.
So you're breaking that chain.
Hopefully.
You know, and a lot of times I have people that, you know, there's a lot of people in your family have had it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be related to something physically in their body. So maybe you don't have that condition, so it may skip you. And just because you have that family chain doesn't mean you're going to be part of that chain. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
For medicine, taking the statin drugs, but I told my doctor, I will not take them, you know. And I tried to say, you got enough aches and pains without taking medication that's going to make you hurt, you know. But he said just recently that they're not prescribing statins for older people now. And that may be the reason that what you're talking about, maybe they're finding out it affects the memory, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, I just wonder with the drug I was on, how many older people might be taking it that are having the same symptoms as I. Any other questions?
What's the earliest age that you know of that people start looking at?
The youngest one that I'm aware of is 29. There are some children, like babies that are born now with a certain condition where dementia hits them in infancy, you know, in their younger years. Also Down syndrome children sometimes get dementia, a form of dementia. But the youngest for the early onset Alzheimer's I know is 29. Which is kind of sad, I mean, because imagine being a 29-year-old and going to the doctor and trying to convince him that you have memory loss. And one thing I want to leave you with, I get this a lot, you know, as we age, we forget things from time to time. You know, we walk from one room into another room and forget why we're going there. But usually we come back in that first room, get comfortable, get doing something else, and it pops in our head why we're going there. So I always tell people, if you remember, that's a good thing. If you don't remember and you don't remember that you were in that room, that's when it's bad. So, you know, it's normal to be forgetful. It's normal to forget things from time to time. As long as you remember them, you're good. You know, don't, because I know a lot of people, you know, they start forgetting things and they're like, uh-oh. But again, as long as it comes back, that's a good thing. And then if y'all could do me a favor, each of your little seats, if there's paperwork there, there's a little evaluation form. If you could just take a quick minute and do that for me, I would appreciate it. And then I have some literature in the back if y'all are interested as well.